Hey everybody, Mike Pfeiffer with Pfeiffer Hobby Supply. Today I'm going to do the ACT3 Update 66, and I know it's a little soon, but I've gotten a lot of stuff done. And I want to let you guys know that I think I just did a how-to video on the graphite in the turnouts. I did the whole video here and then I didn't realize it may have been on slow motion here. If it did, I'll have to redo it at some point. But nevertheless, if you get a chance, go look at that when I get it up there. The second thing I'm going to tell you about is I promised you guys that I would give you a kind of an update on something I bought quite some time ago, and I never have done that. So we're going to take a look at it right now. If you remember this thing, and if you don't know what it is, it's a vacuum cleaner attachment. I don't know where I got it. I think it was from China, or I don't know, someplace. I just saw an advertisement for it. I thought it was a cool idea, so I picked one up. Haven't really had much use for it yet, but I just found a use for it. And I'll give you two examples of that here in just a minute. But this goes on your shop vac, and obviously it's got all these little tubes on there, and these little tubes will suck up debris of small type, but will not suck up automobiles, people, and that sort of thing, buildings, and that kind of stuff. So I didn't really have much use for it at first, but I found 2 or 3 uses for it, and I'll tell you what they are here. Okay, the first use that I found for it, well, the second use actually, and I'll show you the other one in a minute, but I found a use for it just not a few minutes ago. I was doing the video on how to use the graphite to lube this double crossover here when the side of my bottle there broke and I had graphite all over the place here. This thing worked perfectly. Get in there, suck it all out of there and everything. And not that I had anything that I didn't want to suck up, but if I had any scenery or switch machines or anything out here that I didn't want to suck up, this thing worked perfectly. And it worked perfectly to suck up the stuff that I had all over my little table here. Now let's just move on to what I've gotten done, show you what I've gotten done. And a lot of this will probably be taken by hand instead of off the tripod. So here we go. Okay, the first thing I want to show you is these 2 turnouts back here. Both of these turnouts that are in this picture here were kind of sticky, and I was having trouble with them, and the points weren't making contact. Well, I finally got around to going in there and brushing with a metal brush the points on both of these turnouts and putting the graphite on them, and they both work spectacularly now. So that's a pretty good accomplishment right there. And while I was at it, I put graphite in that one up there on the main line. And that being said, I put graphite on a bunch of them, as I said. Oops, there's my hand again. I'll never get the hang of this camera. But anyways, let me show you. Ooh, we had a truck accident down here. Anyway, let me show you what else I've been up to. Okay, I think you can see what I've been up to. I got my 5-position bill box in here, or my car card box in here. And what I decided to do with the top of the car card box was cut it, put it up there where I needed it to go, and then cut the top of it along with the contour of my fascia. And what I did was I put them up there with hot glue. So if I ever need to take it off, it's a pretty simple deal to just stick a screwdriver and pop it off of there without really screwing up the masonite totally. This one worked out perfectly. It's out of the way. It's not in the way of any of the push buttons. I also went in there, as you can see, and I divided each one of the sections in half with a piece of styrene super glued in place. I got it painted, and I'll move down here to the next one. Let me explain this one real quick, because I've got, I don't know what happened there. I got Robin's Feed, and I've got Swanson Land and Cattle back there. I have an interchange track, and I have the maintenance away track, and I have the caboose track. So that's 5 things I got to cope with here. So I have 5 holes there. And in a minute, I'll tell you how I'm going to overcome another little obstacle, which I haven't tried any of this stuff yet, mind you, but it's in my head, okay? So let's move on down. Okay, I'm going to stand back here a little bit, obviously, for this one. You can see that I have two 5-place card holders here, and I put them side by side. It didn't restrict any of the push buttons for any of the turnouts. However, I did have to remove my where is it? My Santa Fe logo, but I think I'll just move it over here somewhere. But nevertheless, they fit in there. You can also see that I've cut it with the contour, and I put dividers in all of them. And the reason for the dividers, by the way, and I've had a lot of suggestions about this. Hold on, let me put this down a little bit. Each one of these will be an industry. Obviously, there's too many here, and I'll point that out in a minute. But what it amounts to is you have incoming cars and you have cars that are staying or outgoing cars. Okay, so incoming will be in the front, outgoing in the back, because they've been here longer. Now let's get to the why there's this many. Okay, I have track 1, track 2, track 3, track 4, track 5 of the yard. That's 5. Then I have the ice dock. That's 6, 7, and 8. So I have 8 slots here where there will be a place for trains or cars. So I obviously have 2 slots here left, but if need be, I can use those for to hold made-up trains, outgoing trains, anything. But there'll be 2 extra slots here. But I didn't want to have to cut down any of these boxes, and the 10 slots fit in there, so that's why they're there. Let's move on down and see what I did at the next location. Okay, so here we are down near the town again, and there's a 5-slot box here. There's a 5-slot box here because I have 1, 2, 3, potentially 4, and then there's a track on the back side of the chemical plant. So there's basically 5 tracks here where one could leave cars at the industries. Hence 5 slots, and that's really all I needed here. Once again, cut to the fascia, and once again divided in half. Now I'm going to spin around and throw it. What am I going to do? I'm going to spin around and show you the last one. Okay, the last one here was a bit of a challenge. Obviously, you know I have 3 industries up here. I have the oil plant, fish oil, and I have the scrap yard, and I have a Schmelly meat packing. So I have 3 industries, hence 3 slots. This one, unfortunately, was on a curve. So my answer to that was slicing the back and slicing the bottom of each one of these so that I could bend it, into the curve here and hot glue it in place. And it seems to have worked out well. I've got the dividers in this one as well, in and out. And now I'm going to go back to the 10 slots and at least give you some ideas of what was going around in my head as far as some other things that I'm going to do with the box. Okay, we're back down here at the 5-position box. I do have enough slots here to put some made-up train orders in, but at the other locations I don't. So if you had a 10-car train, 2 locomotives, and a caboose, that would be a total of 13 cards in a train, which I'm going to try and keep the length of the trains to that. There may be extenuating circumstances, but for the most part, there'll be 10 cars, 2 locomotives, and a caboose. That being said, there's never a place to put your car cards when you're working. So I don't have any place to stick any, or I don't want to stick any shelves out. But what I'm going to do is I'm thinking about putting some of these around, and I've seen guys use these before, so that when you're working on your car cards, you at least can stick a couple. I might have 3 or 4 of these on each one of these boxes so that you can at least hang your cards up while you're working on them. Sometimes you have some empty slots, you can lay your cards down. I'm trying to avoid people laying cards on the layout, which happens quite frequently when you're in a club situation. But anyway, I'm gonna, not necessarily this type of clip, but some type of clip, screwed, probably at least 3 of them here, probably where the wood is thick right here. Screw them in up here so that you can clip your paperwork in there as you're working on your train at these locations. That's just another thought that I had. And really, let's see if I can think of anything else to tell you here. I haven't done too much else out here. I did, since the other day, I did blacken or stain the ties and track and ballast in here. Also stained the stark red dirt that you saw along the edge of the roads or road that I got done. If you come down here now, and if you remember from the video the other day, it was really, really red. In fact, it was almost as red as the pink foam is there. And so I washed that down and got it to blend in more. Still don't have the lines on the road. But anyway, I was just I just had to do another update because I wanted to let you guys know that I was just pretty pleased with the outcome of the way the boxes blend into the fascia of the layout, and they're not really overwhelmingly sticking out. So I guess that's about it for update 66, and we'll let you go. Okay, everybody, no trains running on the layout today. I just haven't turned them on. Haven't changed any out either, so I thought it would get kind of boring. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this short update 66. I was just pretty excited, so I thought I'd just go ahead and put this out while I had time. And I hope you enjoyed it today, and as usual, thanks for watching.